Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto Pumps. I think I've got it sorted this time. I have Ashton's name spelled right, and I have no echo on my end now, so it's all good. So, thanks, Chris and Ashton, for being patient with me and coming back to talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here, man.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries. All good.
Thanks,
You're
lads.
talking to the guys that had to wait 2 months to launch the token. We get the technical difficulties.
You have a lot of patience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's good. The question that you get asked a lot, like just for the first question, how many is on the Nacho team, and what's your kind of backgrounds?
That's a good question. So it depends on kind of how you define the Nacho team, if you will, because it's a community-run project and community-owned. So there's no true team that we're familiar with in the sense of like meme coins on Solana and stuff. But our creator team started with 7 people on it. So there were 7 folks involved in ideating and creating Nacho. 5 of those 7 are still involved every day, and you see a lot of us on spaces and things like that. But Chris, what would you say? I mean, between marketing and I mean Reddit and Instagram and the development team, we're probably at like 30 plus people that are involved every day.
Yeah, probably. I guess marketing is like 5 or 6 people. Lots of people are also creating images on a daily basis, and yeah, moderators across Telegram, Discord. Well, yeah, 40 people is probably right
That's
around.
amazing. I didn't know there was 30 people. Like that's a lot. Um, but the first launch was the 30th of June, I think, and I went on holiday. I was in Lanzarote, and I was looking forward to the minting, so I had to pack up my laptop and I brought it to Lanzarote with me and had it out on the 30th of June to start minting. And then we all know what happened. Like it lasted a couple of hours and then it all went down. But when I was struggling to find out what was happening, I joined Discord and I went into Nacho's Discord. That was the day I went into it, and I found Ashton answering a lot of questions and being very helpful to the community. You even opened up the node that you had, your personal node, was it to redirect the Caspa wallets at it? And that helped people and improved their minting a little bit. I wouldn't say fixed it, but it helped. I think that was the first time. Like you did a lot for people on that day. That was the time I heard of you first.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you joining in and participating in it, and I'm glad it was helpful. It was a weird day because we were all just overjoyed with the excitement of launching and didn't really have the expectations that this would happen. So we just jumped in and tried to do the best thing we could to help everybody and get them through it with as little pain as possible. Opening up the node is it's really helpful, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad people appreciate it. But it's kind of not that big of a deal. It's basically just dropping a URL in the Discord that was already up and running. So
Yeah,
felt like kind of the least I could do to help.
yeah, that was great. And do you think like it was a bit of a blessing in disguise that the first beta launch didn't go too well? Because I don't think a lot of stuff was ready. There's people at the moment developing wallets. You have the Block Explorer. Um, what's the name of your Block Explorer again? Sorry.
KatScan.
Yeah, KatScan, and you're after open mining pools with no fees for everybody. I mean, you didn't have any of that stuff ready the first time, and it gave a lot of projects time to develop. So do you think it might have been a good thing that it kind of didn't launch? It didn't go perfectly and it was delayed.
Yeah, I mean, I personally do think so. I think it was a blessing in disguise for kind of 3 reasons. One is we got the opportunity to connect with community members on like an individual level and really, like you said, help them and support them in the process. So I think Nacho as a whole gained a lot of ride or die community members just because of that type of, I guess, intimacy that we got to have with people on that first day. You're right in the tool sense too. We got a lot of opportunity to build. We got a lot of opportunity to push things out, and it wasn't just us, right? I mean, the KSPR bot marketplace, I don't think would have been as ready and mature if it was launched in June. Obviously, Casware saw some development improvement and some room for some more in that process. But I think lastly, it really highlights from an industry perspective the folks who are willing to be persistent and stay in the community and engage during a trying time. We saw a lot of projects kind of fall out during that 2 month period, and we saw a lot of people not interested at all really in KRC20 because it's just a little too difficult or unknown for them. And now we see projects coming out of the woodwork because it's easy again.
Yeah, well, that was a point you said about Casper bot there, because like I was talking about, I went on holiday and I brought my laptop with me. I didn't know at the time about there was a Telegram bot called Casper bot, and I would have been able to mint from my phone. All I needed to bring with me was my phone, but I didn't know at the time. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't have used it. I only started using it when Caspador came on board with them and working with them. So then I kind of knew it was trustworthy. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have went near it. And then I've made videos on Casper bot, and I'm very comfortable using it from my phone or the computer. And I don't think if it was for Casper bot, I don't think the minting would have went the way it did because of the issues with Casper wallet.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with you there. The Casper bot, KSPR bot team, they have been a massive savior to this industry as a whole, from the minting in the early times to the marketplace. But I shared that same concern with you right back in June. I'm like, oh, I don't know, Telegram bots, closed source code. I don't really know what to think. But that delay got us a lot of time to dig in and get close with these people and build some trust, I think.
Yeah. I was saying to Chris before when we were waiting for you to come on there, that I knew when I heard that KRC20 tokens were coming out in Caspa that somebody was going to bring out a meme of Nacho shy as cat, and I was very excited when I saw it come out, and like straight out of the blocks, you guys were, the memes have a thing about being kind of seedy, but like you've been there to help people since the start, and I think it really builds trust, and I think that's why Nacho has been so successful. You have so many, was it 16,000 holders I think you have now? Like, you're so decentralized. Some people thought because your max supply was so high that maybe it wouldn't get minted, but it did. It minted out, and I think it was 2 days, and 16,000 people have Nacho. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really cool environment and process to watch play out, because part of it is just I think the leading with integrity and good intentions, like you kind of mentioned there, but also a lot of it is just luck of timing too, because we were one of the first ones out, one of the first fair launched, and then that 2-month period built a lot of hype. We've seen a few projects try the 10 million mints since, and a lot of that energy just isn't as compressed as it was in mid-September.
Yeah. Did you, when you started Nacho, or who was it, yourself or somebody else in the team that came up with the idea originally? I think Chris said that the idea of Nacho first came up in 2023.
Yeah, so Dr. Dan is one of the members of the creator team that we've referenced a couple of times, and the actual idea for Nacho, as Shai Wyborski's cat meme coin inspiration, came exclusively from him, and he's had it for a couple of years, longer than we've actually known him, right? So a lot of it was just each member of the team kind of bringing what they are good at, and piecing puzzle piecing that together to fit. But yeah, Dr. Dan is responsible for the Nacho idea itself.
Nice. And did you ever think that Nacho would be? I've referred to it as the flagship KRC20 meme token, but it's a lot more than that. I mean, you have your block explorer and you have your mining pools, and I don't know. But did you ever think that you'd be as big as you were, or be as successful as you were?
No, I don't. I talked about this a little bit on Blockchain Banter last Monday, about kind of like avoiding expectations, and I think it's a reason that we've been able to have this good kind of positive dialogue in the community, instead of the kind of seediness that you mentioned with some of the meme coins. Is just we're really just looking to build a place that we could call home, that we could hang out in and enjoy and contribute to Caspa. So I don't know what you think, Chris, but for me personally, no, I never expected it to be this big ever, and definitely not this quickly.
No, definitely agree. I mean, we are always really pushing, and we are trying to build and trying to engage with the community, but we didn't thought that it's such a quick thing, let's say that. So no, we are definitely very impressed and very excited and very, just honored to be a flagship for this fantastic project named Caspa.
Yeah. I was going to say, so you're, the exchange listing. So I think it was on Twitter, you said that you had 3 exchange listings. One was the one you talked about. There was a US branch, and I had a global branch as well. So that was obviously Pionex. And then you were saying you had a smaller one that didn't want any funding, and then you had one in the middle that wanted a small amount of funding. Or can you talk about any of those other ones besides Pionex?
Yeah, so I can kind of give you a breakdown of I think the 4 sources that Nacho will be tradable on very, very soon.
Yeah.
So Pionex is 2-in-1, and we've talked about this a lot with the community and recognizing that this really is 2 separate exchanges. Pionex Global, Pionex US, they have the same name and branding, but they're different exchanges. They require separate liquidity, separate marketing budgets, all of these type of things. So Pionex Global and Pionex US are 2 of the 4 I'm referencing. Another one is decentralized exchange, Change Finance. We actually contributed about 5,000 in liquidity across CUSDT and Nacho this morning. And we hope to do more of that very soon so that Nacho will be tradable on Change Finance as a DEX. And then there is one more small centralized exchange that we expect to be trading. We're measuring this in days and hours, not weeks and months at this point. But yeah, I can't say their name just yet. But you're right in the sense that they've decided to do everything for Nacho on their own. They don't ask for a listing fee. They decided to buy Nacho and create their own liquidity rather than asking us for it. So yeah, they are very, very gung-ho and excited about listing Nacho, and they will likely have some news coming out over the next 2-3 days, I think.
What's the first letter of that exchange?
Oh, it's in the English alphabet.
Okay, thanks for that. That's and yeah, tell me on the Pionex, how's the the way you had to, I think you had to have 500 US customers sign up to Pionex and 500 global, wasn't it? I think the global one is getting there, but I think it's a bit behind on the US one, is it?
Yeah, US is moving a tad bit slower, but this is okay because the listing process for the US side is a little bit slower as well. The idea that Nacho can start trading at the exact same moment on both Pionex Global and Pionex US is extremely unlikely. There's a lot more regulatory hurdles to jump through for the Pionex team on the US side. So at this point, Chris, I think we can confidently share that the Pionex Global goal has been retired. It's complete. So we've met the needs of Pionex Global, and we're moving forward extremely quickly. I think we're under 100 on the US side left, and that seems to line up really well with the expected timeline.
Okay, because I did a video on it. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, I just said it's correct, and Global was really, really nice with the sign-up numbers, and Pionex really liked our numbers overall, and they are really impressed with our progress.
Brilliant. Yeah, because I made a video on, Nacho needs your help, like sign up, and the links are in the description on this video as well. But a few people in New York seems to be really restricted, is it? Because it's supposed to be a US regulated exchange, isn't it? And people in New York still can't get in it. They still can't get KYC. Or have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, we definitely have. There's a few areas for countries for the Pionex Global side, and then states for the Pionex US side that are still restricted. And I think most folks familiar or dealing with like US regulations around crypto recognize that New York is one of the hardest to get through. They've got their whole financial services regulation committee, and they restrict a lot more than anyone else. So that is true. New York, I believe, also the state of Georgia, surprisingly, although it seems that Pionex US is working to fix this very, very quickly. So few little gaps in coverage there. And because Nacho is so focused on fair launch and just ubiquitous access where no one really has an unfair advantage or disadvantage, this is why something like Change Finance becomes so critical. Because while we want these partnerships to flourish and have a lot of trading on the centralized exchanges we're partnering with, we've got to make sure that everyone's got the same fair shake and access.
Okay, brilliant. And while I have you on, you'd be the man to ask. Like, I kind of aim this channel at more beginners, so I'm more familiar with central exchanges, and I've done a little bit of on MetaMask. Like, that's the only DEX I've used. Could you like explain? Like, I know that on the Change Finance now, you can, for liquidity, you can sign up $100, and then you have to sign up the equal amount of, say, Nacho. How does that work? Like, like that's not taking their money, that's there, and they can withdraw it if they want. Like, I'd say stuff like that is maybe scaring people from getting into that, and they're waiting. Like, could you dumb it down a bit, like make it simplify it for people?
Sure. Yeah, I can do my best to do so. I'm definitely not a professional in this sense either, and I can't say I've spent a lot of time providing liquidity on other chains either.
Yeah.
But you do have to provide it on Change Finance in a matched pair. So when you're providing that, you decide how much USDT, the CUSDT you want to provide, and it'll automatically calculate the equivalent Nacho that you need to provide as well. But you're right in the sense that it's not taking their funds. You are just depositing those funds in the liquidity pool. And in return, you get a different KRC20 token called LPNACH. It's Liquidity Pool Nacho. And this represents your funds that are in the liquidity pool. So you put in the two funds, CUSDT and Nacho, you get back the LP token. And then if you ever want to remove your liquidity from that pool, you're going to send back the LP token to them, and that tells Change to send you your Nacho and USDT back. The one caveat or important thing to note here is that a pretty significant or sizable risk does still exist in providing liquidity, and it's called impermanent loss. It's a really complex topic that I am probably not qualified to speak on, but generally it's the idea of if more traders sell Nacho on Change, you will end up with more Nacho tokens in your liquidity pool in the amount that you'll get back. Similarly, if they buy a bunch of Nacho in that liquidity pool on Change, you're going to end up with a higher percentage of USDT when you go remove your liquidity. So a lot of people call this impermanent loss. I like to think about it like opportunity cost. If you're holding more Nacho and the price goes down, your total value may actually decrease. And similarly, it can increase in some ways too.
Right. Okay. To see how it goes. And another thing I saw about Change, so I know the way the minting, it brought the amount of transactions up on Caspa, and it earned the miners more fees. Like Change Finance, it says all these swaps will take place on Caspa, on the block tag. So will that bring the transactions up again for the miners?
Change Finance transactions do get logged on Caspa's network, and all of them come with one of those transaction fees. So normally it's really, really cheap on Caspa. Sometimes you have the higher priority fees if needed, but yeah, absolutely. Higher transaction count, more rewards for miners.
Brilliant. I wanted to say to you as well, I was at the KII meet in Dublin, and I got to meet Shoy. And just before I got to meet him twice, but just before I got my picture taken with him, I asked him, did he buy any Nacho? And he said he did. He said he got his bag of Nacho. Now he mentioned 1 million. I can't remember. I was trying to figure it out if he said I got 1 million Nacho, or he definitely had 1 million in there, but I can't remember if it was more or less, but he definitely has his bag of Nacho, you know.
That's great to hear. It's so cool. He his video that he did with your friend Andy, that where he was talking about the just the love in the project, and that he enjoys seeing it. I think he mentions in there that he's going to get some for his vanity plate, digital vanity plate or something. So it's cool to hear that he did.
Yeah. It was a bit nerve-wracking meeting him because you don't want to be on the wrong side of one of his tweets or something like that. But he's a bit intimidating, like, 'cause you know how smart he is. But it was great to meet him. Like, he was very friendly, and it was great to meet all the guys.
Well, I'm definitely jealous. I wish I could have been at that KII meeting. It seems like they had a massive amount of Caspa Alpha shared there.
Yeah, it was great.
One day, Ashton, one day.
Well, it's going to be a yearly thing, but I don't know if it's going to be in Dublin every year, or they're going to move it about, or how they're going to do it. That's what they said anyway.
Well, good to hear. And we'll be in a much better position to go next year, I think.
Yeah. And you guys have a thing on Discord tonight. Is it called Positive Vibes at 11? Well, that's 11 p.m. my time, but 2 hours.
Yep. Yeah, Dr. Dan running the weekly Positive Vibes calls from now on. He's our Nacho equivalent of Wolfie, the Caspa hype man. So Dr. Dan, the hype man, running the show tonight.
All right, cool. You're not going to give that. There's not going to be any alpha on that show that you're not giving me, is there?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Sometimes people just ask me questions and I decide to answer them.
Yeah. Have you got time? Let's see if there's any questions here. Have you got time for a couple of questions?
Yeah, plenty of time.
Cool. Let's go. Oh, there's Dr. Dan there. Speak of the devil.
Yeah.
Everyone drop a like and show support for such an excellent channel and natural support. Oh, thanks, Dan.
Absolutely. I second that. You have been here since the early days. Like you said, you joined that call on June 30th. So when you reached out with this message and you're like, oh, I kind of have a small channel. And I'm like, no, of course we'll participate, man. You've been here supporting us the whole time.
I was saying to Chris, I started off in Discord trying to make the images to Nacho, but I just couldn't keep up with Beckup, bro. He was too good. And then I put in for the Caspa, the Tangem design, and I lost that as well. So
I think I actually remember your design that you put in. It got a lot of votes though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the paw print walking across the back of the card, huh?
Maybe next time we will have definitely another tangent design in the future, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe.
You have people here guessing who it is. We have a MEXC listing. You don't have anything to say with that, do you?
I don't have anything to say about that, but I will say that this question has been asked and answered in the Discord.
Okay.
Couple of times.
Do we have a MEXC listing? Oh, as we got loving the pilot voice, Ashton. Great work, Ashton, Chris, Dr. Dan, VT Iron Frog. There you go. How to buy Nacho.
Medic.
Yeah, it's medic. It's medic. The good old medic.
She's one of our moderators and just a fantastic person and contributor. To
absolutely, definitely.
How to buy Nacho. The only place you can buy Nacho at the moment is on Casper bot and Telegram, or soon on Pionex. What's the price of Nacho at the start in Pionex? You wouldn't know that, you wouldn't yet?
We've been talking to our market maker and Pionex about this, and it's very, very important that we match the listing price in Pionex to the current market conditions. We do not want to see unnecessarily green candles that are not authentic and not genuine just because we start too low, and similarly we don't want to start too high and have everyone feel like they are obligated to take profits or something like that. So I don't know an exact number, but it will be close to current market value.
Yeah, that's another question I wanted to ask you. There's a certain KRC20 token that got launched on LBank and it kind of shot down, whereas Dognoy that got listed and that did the opposite. It did well for a while. So is there stuff you have to watch for before you get listed so that doesn't happen to Nacho?
Yeah, I think there are important things to look for. I can't really comment on either of those two projects and what happened to them, but the important thing that we've noticed is like you don't when you have significantly large amount of holders, we've got almost 17,000, and some people have seen a 40x since their mint cost if they minted everything at on September 15th. There can be a decent bit of sell pressure when a token becomes more available and easier to sell, easier to buy. But generally, I think that distribution of holders helps quite a bit in stability. So one thing I just may have people look at is, the smaller the holders, the more volatile your price movement is, no matter what. It's just kind of an inherent supply and demand thing.
Okay. Can't wait for Nacho on Tangem. Oh yeah, that must be getting close now, is it?
Yeah, we can't speak for Tangem on a specific date. They are kind of just like us and like Caspa. They like making sure that things are perfect before they launch, and better to do it slow and steady than rush it. But the goal originally was to have KRC20 available when Nacho Tangem started shipping. So it still seems like that's likely.
I haven't looked lately. Are they all sold out again, or is there another round going to come out?
We're not doing another round of the same design. We did commit to that just so everyone would know that there's a uniqueness to these. I haven't checked the Tangem website in a few days. It looks like we got about 200 and some odd left. So that last second batch of 500 still rocking and rolling.
Okay, so you can do my one next. That'd be a good one to do.
Yeah.
At least Nacho was fair launched. Yeah, it was. Want Nacho card too, but I already got a Tangem. You can never have too many Tangems. You need a backup.
Yeah.
Those LBank tokens wasn't.
Sounds like a follow-up to his fair launch comment.
Oh, okay. The LBank crash was a large free airdrop that got sold off. Is Nacho doing any airdrops on a listing?
No, Nacho does not do any airdrops or anything like that. It's all all fair launched. They're already all in circulation.
If anybody gets any emails or DMs saying to do airdrops or from Casper, that's sorry, Nacho, that's a lie. It's a scam, yeah?
Absolutely. Don't click links. No one's sending you any nachos.
Airdrops are never gonna be a thing for Nacho. Never.
Okay. Because you see a lot of scam emails going around lately. No airdrops, please. Rec tokens. No, they just said they're not doing any airdrops. Saw someone asking about KatScan and how development progress is going for page, loading time, etc.
Really good question. We have, like, if you look at the roadmap, you can see that listings are priority number one. So some of these things have taken a back seat because the amount of conversations and, I mean, honestly, just math and contracts and stuff, it takes hours and hours to go through this. But we've got 4 new people who have raised their hands that are all software developers in some capacity that are helping out quite a bit. So we've recently repaired the Mint heat map. We've improved backend database optimization and loading, and we've got probably 2 or 3 more steps to really build out KatScan a bit more. These are going to include token images, price data, better loading like this person's talking about, and better access to filtering and sorting tokens, because you can't, there's some limitation in how easy it is to find a token on KatScan right now. So to Scape's question, probably a week, 2 weeks. We just need to get through this listing week, if you will, and then we'll have a lot more time.
Okay, brilliant. And I don't suppose Nacho's developing a wallet, are they?
No, we do not have any plans to or anything like that. The goal of some of our development pieces were really to fill gaps in the Caspa ecosystem and figure out how we can add value instead of just making a cool cat branded version of something that already exists. So I know the Casper Ghost team is working on a mobile wallet. KSPR bot is working on their wallet. I see there's some other irons in the fire too. I know PX has an open source one too. So
yeah, I thought I saw Shoy ask Casplex to do their own wallet as well. Did he? I think I saw a tweet about that.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
I heard there was a Nacho Tangem giveaway yesterday. Was that right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Some of one of our members, I believe Dong is his Discord name, and Kaspa on X. He just had a giveaway, and he gave away 1 Tangem and a couple of Nacho tokens, and it was pretty awesome. And just
brilliant.
Distributing the wins right now.
Okay.
Chris, on that note, sorry to do this in the middle of your stream, but some of our the winners of the Nacho on that had mentioned they couldn't DM us or something. So
yeah, I know. I will DM them. Yeah, I know.
I think this is referring to Chris Hutchinson's impression of me. So you couldn't hear it, so there's no point in playing it. But if you get a chance, go and have a look at the Rock the Caspa.
Just the latest Rock the Caspa episode?
Yeah, the latest one. Yeah. KRC20s like Nacho are coming out on Tangem for sure, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They committed to Q4 2024. We don't have a date, but it will be this year.
This guy isn't feeling too confident about the exchange list, and I sold over 4 million of Nacho because of what happened with Somps on L Bank.
To each their own. I hope it. Yeah.
What's the strat? I don't know. What's the story around listing? Waiting for synchronized listings to benefit from increased volume and liquidity. What's the strategy? Is it?
Yeah, strategy. Yeah, kind of. Synchronized listings, kind of. Really, it's just about ensuring that there's a healthy market for Nacho, not from a demand perspective, but that there isn't fake volume or profit taking from a market maker or some of these kind of weird things that just happen on new listings. So it's just carefully dotting every I, crossing every T. In a perfect world, we'd launch them all on the same day, because there's benefits, like you say, to volume and liquidity, but it's unlikely that will happen. So having 3 or 4 in one day after another or a couple days apart or something like that is likely what we'll see. And the strategy there is really just ubiquitous access, again, fair launch stuff, and benefiting from as much of this stuff that you're talking about as we can. Increase liquidity, volume, hype, stuff like that.
Okay. Love the name KatScan. That was originally going to be Nacho Lytics, wasn't it? Then you changed it.
It was. And I got a hats off to my wife, actually. I was talking to her. We had had a couple drinks one night, and I'm like, what the hell do we change this name to? I don't like it, just doesn't roll off the tongue well. And she had actually come up with that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. What's going to be the floor price for Nacho when it gets listed? You just talked about that already, didn't you?
Yeah. The best thing I can tell you, George, is roughly the same price it is now in USDT. So just take that market cap, divide it by 287 billion, give you a rough idea.
Cool. I think this is the same kind of question you already answered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Q4 will be here in no time. Yeah.
It's here. We're 13 days in.
Yeah. If Nacho enters an exchange, will the price start lower as current or higher? Is it possible to buy on bot as well as on exchange?
Yeah, first question we talked a little bit about, it will start at roughly the same thing it is now. I can't, there's a lot of people who have to weigh in here. You know, exchange has to approve, market maker has to like the idea. So can't give you a number and promise, but it's basically what it is now. And yeah, you should be able to buy on the bot and the exchange same time, whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be minimal arbitrage opportunities there for some people.
Okay, thanks for answering. Any talks with Moonshot?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure what Moonshot is.
Neither am I. So is there
Maybe
3
a
or 4
drink.
There's probably another token came out. So is there 3 or 4 listings then soon?
Yes.
Everybody wants to know. Yes. Yeah.
3.5.
Also, how close are you with Tangem? So you don't know. It's close, but you have to wait for Tangem.
Yeah, Q4. Tangem just wants to make sure they can honor when it is.
How many exchange listings will Nacho be on until the end of 2025? 3.5.
Endless.
It's up to the exchanges. You know, I think we're building enough momentum. And honestly, the fact that we're not paying a listing fee for Pionex or this other centralized exchange means this is just how it's got to be from now on. So we'll see when the other centralized exchanges want to play ball and start building their own liquidity.
Brilliant. I was going to say that's all. You got a couple more minutes, just a couple more questions there.
Yeah, go for it.
Spartan Wealth, genuinely love Ashton and Chris. Great, honest guys. Crypto Pumps, you're an absolute gem too. Well, thank you. Keep doing what you do. Loved meeting you in Dublin.
I'm glad we hung around for that one.
Grayscale, recognizing Caspa as a currency and considering introducing Caspa to its investors is very bullish for Nacho. Yeah, do you think it goes the way around as well? Like, there's a lot of people haven't heard of Caspa, but they're really big into their memes. So when Nacho gets out there, do you think it will highlight Caspa a bit more to some people?
Yeah, and this is really this goes back to some of the kind of initial strategy of Nacho and why we did this as a whole. Caspa Key, KII, and the KEF group, Caspa Ecosystem Foundation. These are two entities in our ecosystem that are going to do an absolutely fantastic job of onboarding enterprise and industrial sectors. There wasn't really an organized group for onboarding retail, right? Onboarding the individuals and the hobby developers that want to do something fun on the best network. That's exactly why we're here. So yeah, I think it's a mutually beneficial relationship between Caspa and Nacho, and that's the goal.
Brilliant. You're worth the wait. Presume she's talking about you, Ashton.
So are you, Caspa Queen.
Can you greet? I don't know.
Hi, Mar.
Hi,
Consider
Mar.
yourself greeted.
Will there be a Nacho futures so I can 100x and retire on the listing?
Baffling. You're funny, man. I don't know. We have only talked about these exchange listings as generally spot trading, but Pionex has a very large futures business, and I can't see why they won't be listing on both. But I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. Here you go. Angry Bull Gamers coming back. Moonshot is a mobile app for memes like Robinhood for stocks. It has an easy user interface for trading memes.
Very cool. That's good information. And maybe that is a good method for onboarding more, Robinhood normies, if you will, into our Caspa ecosystem. So we'll look into it. Thanks for the guidance.
Is it possible, Nacho, to reach first tier 1 exchanges before Caspa do?
No, I think
Nope.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. An ideal world, does Nacho also become an ERC20 token to benefit from cross-chain volume, or does it remain solely on Cas?
No.
I think in an ideal world, all ERC20 tokens come to the ultimate settlement layer of Caspa, and we don't need to pay those gas fees anymore.
That's another thing Shoy called the black hole. Caspa is going to be the black hole of crypto. Everything's going to get sucked in because it can do everything. So why do you need the other cryptos, you know?
Yeah, and there's a ton of need for maybe like different things. Like Bitcoin's not going away, but if we can get Bitcoin as an asset that is tradable on Caspa, I mean, digital gold with the speed of silver, I get excited.
Considering KRC20s are inscriptions and not really smart contracts like ERC20, probably not at CM. Or that's answering the other guy. You hired us cats to onboard us.
Like
So
sheep
is
herding, we were herding them
yeah.
like cats. It's funny. I like the play on words.
In Caspa ecosystem, we still miss a big DEX like was Uniswap for Ethereum. Do you see it coming?
This is tough because Uniswap uses like very thorough, complex smart contracts that are on those EVM networks. So I'm not sure we're going to see something as intense maybe or complex as Uniswap, but Change Finance is doing a really good job within the limitations of the space. And Casplex on their roadmap has atomic swaps and KRC20 to KRC20 swaps coming soon as well. So we should have a lot of the functionality. And I think we should have a lot of the same, like meaningfulness, but maybe not as intense.
Okay. We shouldn't forget it's Cas first bull run, so sky is the limit. Yeah, I think a lot of people are having doubts about Caspa lately, the way the chart is performing, but I think it's had bigger dips in the past, you know.
Yeah, definitely. As the longer I stay in this Caspa space, the more I enjoy the red days.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree that Cas becomes the end game, but we need the on-ramps for those users to come over easily or not. Maybe they'll just come because it's too hot to miss.
Yeah, I think when you can take your favorite Solana token or your favorite ETH token and just bridge it over like you can on, Wormhole on these other chains or something like this, the acceleration of adoption becomes crazy.
Okay. That's everything, guys. The dumpier years dumps, the pumpier the pumps. Yeah.
That tracks.
Here we go. What's this? Can we transfer Nacho to Tangem? Not yet.
Yeah, I've answered this question a bunch to people. Technically, it's fine. You can, but you will not be able to move them until Tangem releases support.
I copied my Tangem wallet address and I pasted it into the Block Explorer and it showed I had airdropped KRC20 tokens in there. So even though it shows it in the wallet address, you can't do anything until Tangem integrates them, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They'll just be stuck there forever. And on the very small chance Tangem never releases KRC20 support, they will legitimately be stuck there forever unless you have a seed phrase to import it somewhere else.
Okay. That's it, lads. The texts are just going to keep coming in. I know you have something on later on, so I'll let you go. Chris and Ashton, I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm sorry about the technical difficulties at the start and spelling your name wrong.
Oh, quite all right. Not a big deal at all. It was fun to be here, and it's a good conversation. Thanks for all the support and shouting out Nacho, all that you do.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keep doing what you do. Thanks, guys, and I'll talk to you again.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.